still alive! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Plot Twist, Still Alive! I am your 3-time cancer surviving, ass-kicking, life-loving and living hostess with the mostest, Crystal. Welcome back. I bet you knew you were going to come back after that last episode, right? So we here at Plot Twist, Still Alive, love to use dark humor as our favorite coping mechanism, and we talk about real hard shit. We have already covered cancer, specifically my breast cancer journey, and this one is going to be very difficult, but it's important because this person survived this and found a way to laugh and love life again. And so we are actually going to cover having a child, and we're talking a little child with a potentially terminal illness and what that's like for them. So I'd like to introduce you to our guest of the week, Robbie. Say hello to everybody, Robbie.
Hello, everyone.
I know that you have used dark humor for a lot of things, but I think it's also important that we let people know that, like, this is extremely difficult. This is a very heavy subject, and you might laugh, you might cry a lot, you might feel a lot of sadness. The shit is scary, but hopefully at the end of this, what they'll hear is a really strong woman that was able to endure personally my biggest nightmare. Like, I've had cancer 3 times, but I can't even imagine what it would be like to have one of my kids diagnosed with cancer. That's absolutely horrifying to me. And so I just have so much respect and admiration for anybody that's able to take that on. So right now, I would like to just put it out there, though. We make jokes. We laugh so we don't fucking cry most of the time. And so if you are listening and you are not thick-skinned, you can't laugh at the hard shit, or this is something that's just too triggering for you, I completely understand that. So this is the do not enter at the scary movie, you know, like when you're about to go in the house and they're like, don't go in there. This is the part. Turn this shit off.
Don't go.
Do not go in there. But yeah, let's get into it. So I guess kind of start me off where you became a mom and like a little bit about that. Lead us up to when your child was diagnosed.
When I became a mom, I was very young. I was, 19, 20. I had my daughter, and
Did you feel prepared for that? Because
no, not at all. I mean, looking back, I'm just like, oh my God, what the heck? You know, what are you doing? To look back and realize at that age, having a child, I look at my own children and I think about them being that young as a mother, and then going through what I went through at that young age. And yeah, I don't think you're ever prepared. You're not ever prepared to be a parent, let alone parent of a child that has cancer. You know, it's just it's a crazy situation. Like, whoever said that was going to be your life.
Yeah, that's a fact. I was 18 and 19 working at Wendy's, eating there because I had no money. I can't even fucking fathom pushing
having a child,
a whole person out of me. So that's another kudos to you. Okay, so young mama.
Yes, I was a young mom. When my daughter was diagnosed, she was 2, not quite 3. Fortunately, we were in the military and we had the military behind us for the medical part of it. My husband had just gone back in, and I'll never forget this date ever in my life. It's like, you know, those dates that you just never forget. Yep. And it was December 6th, 1988. Oh, wow. So, yeah, it was December 6th, 1988. And my daughter that's the date she was diagnosed, but she was actually taken to the hospital on the 5th. She turned 3 in January. So very young, and I was very young. I mean, when I think back at how young I was.
So you were like 20, 19 or 20.
I was actually, I was probably 22.
I don't math well. You don't need to math to do
don't
a podcast.
Math well at all. Yeah. So, when I had her, I was 20 when I had her. So it was I was 22. I wasn't quite 23, and it was a lot. It was horrifying. And
so what happened like that? What made you take her to the hospital?
This was the whole setup. So back then, of course, you don't have cell phones. So that's another fun fact. You know, you don't have cell phones. You have
yes, I know. For
rotary
all
phones.
of these TikTok loving People that were cringing out right now. They're like, how the fuck did you do
anything?
How did you get anywhere? But I'm also now that person. So
yeah, me too. I'm a me too.
So picture this: we didn't have our magic little boxes that tell us everything.
Yeah. So I actually had started babysitting this little girl for a police officer who worked overnight, and it was my very first night. So imagine this, it's my first night.
Oh God.
And my daughter is not feeling well. Again, if I look back, I could see this progressing, but I didn't at that time. No, I was young. I didn't understand the signs that were coming. And then
when you say not feeling well, like what were the signs and symptoms?
She was having, literally I could hear her breathing, which to me, I've never dealt with anybody sick. I didn't know what that sounded like. I didn't understand it.
So like struggling to breathe, or
more just, it was like heavy breathing, like
wow.
That is scary.
That's super scary.
But again, I just thought she had a cold. I had taken her into the doctor not long, maybe 3 weeks prior to, and I'd taken her into a clinic. And I guess I needed to preface this. I'm sorry. I got a little bit off track. I'm living in another state. I'm not with my family.
Oh, so you have like no support either?
No support.
Is your husband there?
Yes, he was in the Army. He was actually, he had to go to work that morning. And the night that I was staying up with this child, but I didn't have family. I didn't have family to go, oh, is this normal? Is this, and of course we didn't call each other much because it was long distance back then. You had to pay for that. I didn't have the money for that. So I literally was, okay, this isn't right. She was up most of the night. Well, and I also had my 5-month-old baby.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What? You also just were like trying to get it done before 25, it sounds like. He must have been a hunk.
I almost did before 25, all three, but no, I this one threw me for a loop, and I waited 5 years with her. So
yeah, after this,
yeah, it was 5 years later. Yeah, I had a baby, and I had another little girl that I was babysitting, and so I ran to the store to grab some like Dimetap or something, she was running a small fever. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to go to the store and we're going to fix this, So the next morning, my husband got up to go to work, and we only had one car.
Ew. Bom, bom, bom. Yeah. That's
no cell phones, one car. Back then, you didn't have multiples. He was supposed to go to PT with his buddies. So we had a group of friends that lived in this apartment complex that were in the military together. They were all in the same unit. He was going to go with them, but he said, he was supposed to drive. And he said, well, let me take her to the hospital. I'll call the guys that can take their car. So he takes her to the hospital, and I will never forget. It was 7 a.m. And I'm waiting because he left for PT at 5. And I'm like, it takes 30 minutes to get there. What's taking so long? Why are they having such a... And he calls me at 7:30. Because at 7, I'm freaking out, and I'm calling my mom in Texas, and I'm like, there's something wrong. And he calls me, he says, you got to get here. It's bad. They won't tell me until you get here. And I'm like, but I don't have a car. So I had to call one of the girls that their husbands drive in with my husband.
And what did you do with you had 2 kids with you, right?
Oh, thank God for my neighbor. We were actually starting a babysitting business together. And yeah, I didn't even get to stick around for the police officer to pick up his child, which is great. But he did know that, we were doing this together. So I had to, the girl next door came over, sat with the baby. I went off to the hospital, and I'm thinking the whole way, I'm like, well, it must be like pneumonia. It's horrible. That's horrible. She has pneumonia.
So in your head, like, let's just like paint this picture. You literally have your kid who you knew was sick. Mm-hmm. Your husband takes them in. They won't tell you what's going on. You have to get these other kids taken care of, borrow a car, and then the drive had to be torture. And you're assuming your worst case scenario was pneumonia at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This is, the youth, the not understanding anything. Like, I was never expecting this.
Being that young, why would you? And you didn't have any like family history or anyone that you'd seen ever. Okay. So how long was the drive to get there? Do you know or remember?
Well, I mean, it's felt like forever.
Right.
And so it was, I guess about 30 minutes. And this is something, again, I'll never forget in my life, ever. And I will tell you, I keep it in dark. I keep it in the very back spaces of my brain because I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
They come up, but I don't live there. Otherwise, I did live there for a long time, and it was very excruciating. And I can't live there. So I finally learned how to
compartmentalize.
Pretty much, yeah. A lot of it.
It's the best. Put that shit in a box and never fucking open it.
Leave that thing back there and don't
check.
open. That's like that box that your grandma left you. Just leave that there.
Don't do it.
Don't open it.
Yep.
So yeah, I will remember that ride. And well, I don't remember the ride. That's the funny part is I don't remember the ride, but I remember walking into that hospital. Guys, how many times have you walked into an emergency room? Now, this is military, but still, walked into an emergency room and there's nobody there. Like, nobody's up front.
I mean, I worked in an ER, so I'd say a lot. I've walked into a lot of empty. But that's just me.
But you're just different.
That's just me.
Yeah,
okay.
I never.
This isn't about me.
Sure, it's not.
It's about you.
It's about me. Hello.
Okay. So continue. I'm sorry. But so wait, it was empty, completely empty.
Well, I mean, it was empty, but the thing that was empty was the front desk. Like,
oh, no one was at the front.
Nobody. And I remember walking up to the point where I was like looking around and I'm like, I'm finding my family. Like literally I'm finding my family. And I started walking to the back and I walked to the back nurse's desk. Like, you have a front office and then you have the back office, the nurse's desk. And I walk up and this nurse just looks at me and she goes, "Are you Mrs. So-and-so?" And I said, "Yes." And I'm like, why are they asking me this? How do they know my name? How do they know my name? She turns, and when she turns, there's this doctor in the white coat, I'm guessing, because she goes, Sir, this is Mrs. So-and-so, and she's here." And he turns and looks at me, and the first thing he says is, "Your daughter's got a tumor, and she's probably not going to make it 24 hours.
Jesus, talk about bedside manner. What? That's what they said?
Listen.
While you're standing out at the nurse's desk? That's what they waited to tell you on the phone?
I'm all alone. I don't have anybody.
The dad's not even there.
No, he's not there because he's with my daughter. They're already gone. I didn't know this. Wait. We didn't have cell phones. You can't just call. I've left the house. He can't call me and tell me he's leaving. He says, "Oh, your daughter's probably not going to live 24 hours. She's got a tumor." And of course I'm going, "What?" He says, "Oh, do you need a Valium?" And I'm like,
"What?"
Yeah. And I'm like,
the fucking 80s were crazy, man.
"Give me drugs right now." And I'm like, I barely drink. No, I don't want a Valium. Where's my family? And that's when they tell me, "Sorry, we had to take her to a hospital." We were in Hinesville, Georgia at a military base there. And they had to take her to Savannah, a bigger hospital, because
probably
they weren't equipped.
A children's hospital as well.
Yeah, they weren't equipped. So come to find out, they were doing x-rays on her because she obviously was having labored breathing and they had to figure out what was going on. So come to find out, it was a massive tumor in her chest and they weren't equipped. It was crushing her heart, lungs, and windpipe.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I have to wait in this hospital because they won't let me drive, which my husband had left me the keys to my car.
So just to be clear, you did or did not take the Valium?
I did not. I wish I had.
Wait, so then they wouldn't let you drive because they were worried you were like losing your shit, I assume. I would be.
And I didn't really lose my shit all the time, but I can tell you that I probably looked frantic. In fact, they brought in a priest. And I'm not religious. Like, I wasn't religious like that. But they brought the priest in, and I'm thinking,
so
oh my God. Okay, yes. I'm like, my baby's dying. I mean, that's what you're thinking.
And I'm
like,
going to hell. Like,
I'm going to hell because I don't. Why is the priest here?
Oh my God. Like, this is so fucking wild. Sounds like a different, like the Wild West of like how medicine used to be done. The fact that they offered you a Valium, didn't let you drive.
And a priest. I mean, a Valium and a priest.
The priest to read
and then
last
wouldn't
rites.
give me my keys. I'm like, what is happening?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's get back
Get back.
out of the fucking Twilight Zone that is the 80s. And I believe every word. That's
it
the
was
craziest
crazy. It was crazy.
So
it was crazy.
So then eventually you were able to leave, I imagine. Oh God. She's putting her finger up and gets very quiet and then laughs. What?
Well, I had to wait because I had to call someone from my husband's unit to pick me up and take me to the other hospital.
So they wouldn't let you drive at all?
Yes. Fuck. Yeah, no, they wouldn't let me drive, and then I had to wait. But the fun part, I mean, it feels like, this is the thing. Time stands still.
Right.
And it's almost like you're smoking some good stuff. And you're like...
Not that you would know.
Ever. But I'm just saying, it stood still for a long time. And I'm like, when is somebody going to come and get me? Because I'm frantic. I'm pacing. I'm doing all these things. Well, they finally send somebody over from his unit. They do take me home, and they did deliver the car, because by the time...
So they run an ambulance, I'd imagine.
They
get her and
they did. They
dad
did.
there. Yeah.
They were talking about flying her out. She was so near death that they needed to get her to a hospital 2.5 hours away. Okay. So, of course, I don't know all this at the time. I'm still sitting at the hospital waiting for my ride, very patiently. But I was able to talk to my family during this time. And of course, I have nothing. Nobody's updating me. I have no idea what's going on. Again, it's back in the days where you don't have that link to anyone. I feel like
that's almost, at least in my experience with my own health things and like with other people I've known, the unknown is by far the scariest, because you let your mind go to all of these places.
Yes.
And I don't know many people that disagree with that, but it's fucking terrifying. My mind is way scarier than the things that can be thrown, because you think of, but you're already been told that your daughter might die, basically. She's
24 hours, and I'm like, your time's ticking. I'm ticking.
And you're just
literally just sitting here.
That's fucking horrible. That's
and I'm
horrible.
like, what do you mean 24 hours? And that's stuck in my brain. It was like 24 hours. So I get home. I've talked to my mom, my mother-in-law. I've been able to reach out to them, and they're booking flights. They're on their way to Georgia, because that's where we were. And I've got this baby that I still have to figure out. Well, I contacted my friend. I'm like, can you keep her? Because I don't know what's happening. Right. I don't know what's going on. So thankfully, my baby had been around these people, but I have family coming who've never met her. She's 5 months old. We were in another state. We were military. Nobody's met her. She doesn't know anybody. She knows those few friends that I've been around.
Well, back then they didn't have stranger danger, so it was fine. Back in your day.
There was lots of strangers in danger.
No danger.
There was a lot, but they didn't have that. They weren't aware.
Yeah.
True story.
The internet. It's crazy.
Yeah. Internet's very crazy. I finally get to we lived in like a townhouse. So I get back to the townhouse. And of course, immediately I'm like, I was able to talk to my husband, and he said, they're doing a lot of testing. I need you to get here. I need you to get here as soon as possible. And I'm like, babe, I'm trying, but nobody's picking me up, and they won't let me drive. And he's like, but I left the keys. And I'm like, well, it's not my fault. And I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you now. And he's like, you're right. It's okay. And I'm like, oh, wow. That's all it takes to win an argument. All right. Sick child.
Just tell my kid, tell us our kid's dying, and we'll get along great.
Get along great. Yeah. So, long story short, I'm trying to be long story short, but it's hard.
You don't need to be. We have a whole fucking podcast. That's what it's dedicated.
Might be a part 2.
Might be. We're dedicated. We're fucking committed now.
Yeah.
So continue.
I will tell you, it's surreal thinking about it, because it seems it was a lifetime ago. It really was a lifetime ago, and way different. And I get home, and of course, my first thought is, I have to pack. I know I'm going to stay in the hospital, so I'm trying to pack up things, and I'm trying to pack up things for my daughter and my other daughter, who I have to send clothes with to my friends, because they are taking care of her for now. I don't know how long. I have no idea. So I get into her room, and I'm opening a drawer, and all I can do,
it's all right, it's real,
is sit on the floor. And I'm pulling her clothes out. And I'm literally thinking, These are the clothes. What would I bury her in? Because I'm thinking about, like, she's not gonna live. I'm planning her funeral. Because I don't know. Like, I'm literally, all I think about is cancer and what you know about it at that time. Because we didn't really know a lot, but I knew I saw people that had cancer and what they looked like. And I was literally, everything was, by the time I saw her in the hospital, she was going to be wasted away, nothing but a skeleton, and I mean dying. That's what I imagined. And that's really not true, obviously. But
I think that's a huge misconception with cancer, period.
yeah.
I mean, I've experienced that as an adult, as people thinking I look fine, or having stage 4 warriors that are living with cancer and have hair. They're fine.
Like, you don't look like you have cancer.
No, I have a terminal disease. So
that's right.
But again, your unknown is the scariest, right? So like, you didn't know what to expect. You were young. You weren't like, you had no one you knew that really went through this. And the people that did, you probably saw them in their late stages, or a lot of times it's the medications that
do that. And that's what we learned. Obviously, later on, we learned a lot of that about what the treatment actually does to the body and to someone even years later. Like, that's something we've realized and learned.
Yeah, but you only knew what you knew
at that time.
And you had a fucking breakdown, which again is completely human and real. Like you talking about that, and I can't even imagine what that's like. I have 3 beautiful kids, and like that eats me up. So the fact that you did that and are able to even sit across and talk about it, it just speaks on your strength, which is amazing.
I eventually, I'm trying to remember the orders of things, but I will tell you, I was able to they drove me to the hospital in Savannah. And I was able to go in and see my daughter. And this was the thing. My husband met me at the door and he said, whatever you do not cry in front of her right now. Because you can't cry. She is terrified. You cannot cry. So I walked in that door resolved to not cry. And I immediately turned around and walked out because I was crying.
Can't fucking do it. Can't do it.
And he had to meet me. He had to meet me several times at the door. Like, you got this. You got this. It's almost like when you see somebody like they're trying to build up to doing something, like smacking yourself in the face and stuff. That's what I felt like. I was like, I need to smack me and I'll be fine, Yeah, no, there's nothing that will prepare you to walk into your child exposed in this room. They sometimes have to strap them down for their own safety because they don't know any better. She's 2.
I'm sure they had her hooked up to all types of things.
And all kinds of things. Like, they're just trying to keep her alive at that point. And, of course, all I can do is, you've gotten prepared for this. I don't know. I'm not prepared. And then I walk in, and it's a few minutes later, and finally the doctors come in. Apparently, some of the stuff that I had missed, and they'd already, stuck needles in her and things like this, and they're having to go and do a biopsy. So apparently she has a mass on her chest. Like I said, crushing a heart, lungs, windpipe. Everything is being crushed at this point, and she's fighting to survive. They have to do a biopsy. Now, the biopsy includes taking a needle, putting it in between her rib cage, pressing it through, and pulling the fluid off of this tumor. They can't give her any anesthesia.
What?
No. And they can't put her under, because if they put her under, that tumor will crush her lungs. They will not be able to revive her. So she's crying, and she looks up at me, and she says, Mommy, I'll be a good girl.
Oh,
please, I promise I'll be a good girl. Please don't let them hurt me.
Oh my God.
And I knew that what they were doing was for her good. So I had to tell her that she was my big girl and that I would be there for her after she came out. But her dad had to go with her to do that because I couldn't do it. And then I felt like a failure because I couldn't go with her, and I would cry, and I felt like a huge failure. Like I was the worst mom ever.
Absolutely not. I don't think any mom is prepared to do that. And you're making like decisions that you think are best for her and what you knew is that she was scared and that she was going to sense that from you. And so you allowed the parent that was not going to show that to go and be more comforting to her. Because I don't know a lot of parents that could just stand there and watch their child have that happen and beg them not to. Like that, again, those are things, fucking nightmares are made of for parents. And that isn't like a failure. You did what was best for your daughter, not for you. You didn't not go in there for yourself. You didn't go in there so she wouldn't see you break. There's nothing more, like, to me, maternal than that.
Well, I will tell you, that was a turning point in my life, and it definitely taught me strength, of which I didn't know I had. Like, there was no way. I mean, when people say, would you change things? And there's the, I mean, would I change things? Sure. I love that question. Would you change things? Would you want to go? I mean, no, who wants your child to go through that? Who wants you to go through that? But for me, the difference is how I came out of it. And I think that for a lot of people, and I'm saying mainly for me, but I think for a lot of people, is how do we change coming out of this? What do we become? You have a choice. You can become sucked into the forever, I've been through horrible things, and I don't care which way you go, but me personally, I decided to go on a different path and become a stronger woman. I mean, I had a lot of trials and tribulations in life, but the one thing that I will say is my daughter helped me become a stronger woman, because I watched her go through these things, and I was like, I can't be the same person that I am and not help her. And so she did teach me. And she taught me to be super strong and go through a lot of things like spinal taps. And
again, that shows that you took something that is strength, though, is taking something that's horrible and turning it into, letting it forge you and change you into a person that can find purpose and meaning in it, and also fucking be happy. Being happy is a hard decision to make, and being able to laugh and being able to move forward even when it's scary. So obviously that was her first really major thing that you just got there, but what that looked like, what types of treatments she endured, if there was anything that really stuck out in your head, and what was life like that because once they did the biopsy, you guys had to be told, hey, she has cancer, this type of cancer.
Because of where the cancer was, we didn't have these tests, especially back then. They took time, right? We didn't have time on our hands. She was dying. They knew it was cancer.
Okay.
They knew there was cancer, so I had to go drive home, get the baby settled with a friend for however long. So I basically gave him a key to my house and got ready for my mother-in-law. They took my daughter with her dad up to the Medical College of Georgia, and they started, because they have a cancer unit there. They didn't have that one, a cancer unit. The funny thing is, you think all hospitals have some... Nope. You have to go to special hospitals, and I did not know that either. So I learned that one quick, So we went to the Medical College of Georgia, and I had to drive up with his mom. Thank goodness that we had just bought a new car.
The one car.
Yes.
The Solo Dolo car.
The Solo. The one and only, and it was a Hyundai.
Oh, man. You got the Hun Solo.
I did. And, we used maps back then, guys.
That's crazy. Like Lewis and Clark?
Yep. Just like that. Only a little more detailed.
Slightly.
Yeah, slightly. You need north and west. And
you needed an atlas for that. Like
I did. I had
I bet you did.
It was a big book.
That's how I fucking learned.
That's right. Book. It was huge.
This was even before MapQuest.
Mother-in-law, help me. She goes, I don't know how to read a map. I'm like, how did you live in this world without learning a map?
She was like, I got married. And
I didn't have Waze.
Yeah. So you guys, so basically it sounds like for you to be the support person for her and your family, you were kind of handling the everything else portion of it, whereas her dad was like there with the treatment portion of it. The 24 hours obviously was crucial. And so what, like, did they start anything immediate?
I was able to make it up in the wee hours of the morning when I finally picked up my mother-in-law. I mean, this all started, you remember, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. By, 8:30, I'm at, the first hospital. By, I don't know, it must have been about noon because it felt like that waiting in that hospital. I was at Savannah Hospital, and then they take her up immediately. Well, they had drawn off the fluid. We're having it tested. So in the meantime, they're transferring her up, getting her settled into the hospital at the Medical College of Georgia. And I'm doing all this stuff behind the scenes, whereas my husband is finding out kind of more of what's going on and what the plans are. But they don't really solidify anything until I get up there. And then the doctors come and talk to us and say, listen, we don't know everything about this. So what you find out is she has T-cell lymphoma, is a brother or cousin of leukemia.
Okay.
So we don't know if it's you don't know if it's moved into her bloodstream and into her bones or anything like that. So then that's when they have to go in and do the
bone marrow scrape.
Yeah. And that's terrifying because, again, you can't really be numbed for that. And they have to strap her in. 2 years old. And she's 2 years old, and they strap her in. And so I believe they'd done that before I actually got there, and I heard about it afterwards. But by the time I get there, the doctors are ready to talk to us and say, listen, we don't have time. We don't have time to find out how far along this is. These are our protocols. The protocol is what treatment you're going to go on. What is your protocol? So the doctors sit with us, they talk about these protocols, and they give us options, which, to be fair, if we'd been anywhere besides the Medical College of Georgia, I'm not sure we would have gotten the right protocol. I'm a firm believer in things happen for a reason, and where we were at was where we were meant to be.
Do you think that she would have maybe died if you hadn't had her there?
I really do. This hospital was amazing, and the people there were amazing. This is what they did.
So what were their protocols?
The protocol that I remember, it was the one that we went on, because they said, listen, we could treat it symptomatically with what it was immediately, like that, saying it didn't go into the blood, say it didn't go into the bone marrow, all these things. We could treat it that way, or we could go ahead and treat it in the spine and the other areas, but the one thing we definitely had to do was radiation therapy. And that was the biggest one, was we had to start radiation therapy immediately the next day. And we had to start doing the spinal tap and, just basically everything. All I remember the drugs, L-asparagine, methotrexate, all these drugs, prednisone. She was on prednisone to help her breathe and all these things. But the one thing that they were very adamant about was that if she crashes, we can't save her. And I was like, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? I will never forget. We're traveling. We're having to take her into radiation. This is the big thing. So she's marked out where the tumor is and where they need to focus the radiation on. And one side heavily more than the other, right? And so as we're traveling, there's this guy that's carrying this little, it looks like a little fishing tackle box, right? Mm-hmm. And he's traveling. I'm like, what's that for? And he goes, well, in case
It's a crash cart.
Yeah. He goes, in case she goes down. I said, that'll save her? He goes, honestly, no. If she goes down, we can't save her.
Ugh.
The tumor was going to crush her. If we did anything, that tumor was just going to crush her. And it's not that, and that's the funny thing is, like, you think this tumor is so massive. Yes, her chest protruded. Like, you could see it a little bit. You could see where it puffed out her chest. But it really wasn't that thick of a tumor. It was just the location.
Wow. Like, to think that there's no, like, if this goes wrong, if something happens, there's nothing we can do.
There's
at
nothing.
All.
Nothing. Ugh. And that's what I had to live with, too. I was like, why do you bring... Then my thought was, why are you bringing the cart, then?
What the fuck are you doing,
what are you
Andy
doing?
Griffith? You gonna...
Are we going fishing later? What's happening?
In the dark? You and me going fishing in the dark? Hell yeah. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
this is just for fucking show.
Those are the times I really went like, I'm confused.
This shit's for show? So dog and pony bullshit? It's a fucking prop?
So that's why you just like the looks of this, yes. Apparently, right?
This is
just, you look handsome.
It's
like your little tackle box.
Emotional support tackle box. Fuck. Why are you here? Why are you even here?
I'm like,
You get paid
I
for
mean,
this?
I was like,
I get it.
okay.
They have to do it. It's
Yes,
protocol.
it's protocol.
But also, why the
dude,
fuck are you here?
I'm like, are you gonna? I mean, tell me you're gonna try, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at least
Pretend
a little
you
bit.
just. As if
I just love though the honesty with them. I
will-
mean, let's be straight up.
I will
love
say,
the honesty.
as a medical professional, when people ask you hard things, you usually, it's part of the oaths that you take. But I've had people on the opposite end, a squirrel for a moment, will be like, am I gonna die? I'm like, not from this, or not today,
Not
unless you have
now.
like weird plans later. But like, this is
Not now.
Why are you asking that? And then on the opposite side, when it's something serious, I have to be like very transparent because you owe it to them. I mean, that's reality, and it sucks. It's terrifying though, because you're like, you're the medical professional and you can't do anything. So like, it probably, tell me if I'm wrong, did it make you feel even more helpless?
Yes.
Like even the medical professionals can't.
Yes, that was helpless. Yeah, hopeless, helpless. And then I'm like, what are we doing? What? Why?
Yeah.
But then there was some like good parts when you start getting to the good parts of things, like where they start saying the tumor's shrinking, you know, it's doing better than we expected. And that's the thing that gets you, is like, so you don't want to get your hopes up. You're like, is that good? Is that bad? I can't get my hopes up. I can't, because I can't take one more down.
So how did you keep positive through it if you felt like you had to accept? And how long was she doing treatment before you guys noted, like, got those little comments that were, oh, this is doing better than we expected, it's getting smaller? Like,
it was a case study at one point because it was the largest tumor for a child of her age.
oh,
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that's still true, but I do know at the time it was the biggest tumor of a child her age. I just remember it was a lot and it was a heavy dosage. And they said to us, we have to attack this fast, because if we don't, she's not going to survive.
right.
We have to shrink this. So then once we got the readings, which was always like, it's that double-edged sword of, okay, what they told us, like, if we start this, we have to finish it. Well, we knew the radiation had to happen, but it was the chemotherapy. Type of chemotherapy was supposed to be a protocol for 3 years. And she was responding. She responded, I think, I want to say within like a week, they saw such a massive change in the tumor from the radiation and probably the chemotherapy as well, right? They knew, and we went on a protocol and we started working it, but we just didn't know where it was. And then when we found out that it wasn't in the blood, it wasn't in the bones, but we're on a protocol and we have to go through with it. Like, we have to. There's not a choice. You can't stop chemotherapy in the middle. Your chemo.
Again, let's just stress this was the 80s and they didn't know like what they know
yes.
now.
Yeah.
So they were just, again, Wild West in it out there.
Out there gunslinging. It was really, I mean, to be honest, I think that there was a very new, in fact, I'd heard 10 years earlier, she would not have even survived.
Wow.
So
It had come a long way then.
yes,
That's insane.
There was no way that she would have survived. So yeah, so we get the news. I mean, it's pretty quick. I mean, like, for me, it's pretty quick because they're seeing, you know, and I'm starting to kind of rejoice a little bit. And then you get to that fact, guys. I don't know if anybody's done this, but what are the chances? Give me a percentage. Okay, listen, when they said, oh, she's got about a 10%, I'm like, okay,
What?
10%.
10%, I'm sorry, 10%
Chance
survival
to survive.
rate?
To survive. Okay, but that at least was a fighting chance, right? I just want you to know this. Like, you have to think about this. So you get to the 10%, and then you get, she's doing great, 18%. I don't know. Let's throw in 30%. Let me tell you something. When they tell you 50%, you're like, no. It's the opposite effect. It's like 50. That's like 50% she could die, 50% she can live. I don't like that percentage.
So you'd
I was
rather
like
have
50-50. I know it's stupid, but in your brain, think about it. You're going 50-50.
I see 50, that I'm not the only one bad at math here.
bad at math. 10%, I was like, well, she's trying. She's going. She's got this. And then when they hit 50-50, I was like, I don't like that.
It's half a chance.
It's like
half a chance.
No. Yeah.
So,
I know. That was my brain overthinking things. But I was like 50-50. That just sounds bad.
So obviously this becomes your kind of life for how long? What's life like when as this continues to be like your norm?
So,
because treatment like that takes, I mean, a year, 2 years.
Yeah, it was a 3-year protocol.
Holy fuck.
That was a 3-year protocol, but she's in intensive care. She had a favorite nurse. And he watched, and I was, oh my God, what did he watch with her the whole time? It was, there was a show she liked to watch, and he literally watched that. And back then there were VCR tapes. The sweetest guy, but they literally had to sit in front of her and watch her the entire time. That's the scary part. Like, somebody's watching your child, and he's the only one. Like, they have one person standing
dedicated to that.
To her.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there were the times when they'd shoo you everybody out, like you couldn't be with them. And my fear was like, oh my God, she's never been alone. She doesn't know alone. She does not know these people. What is she going to do? But yeah, but she had her nurse, and he stayed with her. And he just, I mean, they played, and oh my God, she entertained
she did okay
everybody.
there.
Yeah. She learned to read. She did everything because everybody doted on her. They gave her all the attention, and she loved it. Still does. She's quite, yeah.
I mean, I get it. I'm like that in my family.
Anyway,
okay.
yes.
So what was, again, like, so how did...
Life was difficult. And that's something I knew I was doing this podcast, right? So I'm talking a little bit about it because I'm like, oh my God, I have to go talk. And I'm a little nervous, it's stuff I haven't brought up in years. And they were like, their face was like, oh my God, how did you live? And I was like,
who the fuck were you talking to that talk like that? Did you just randomly dial a number?
No. When I tell you later, you're going to laugh. You're going to go,
basement.
oh, that was actually really pretty good.
Sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
But I'll tell you later. But I'm not bringing up their name right now. Anyway, yeah, so I said, she goes, how did you live? How did you do that? And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. I just know that it's just one foot in front of the other.
I'm going to apologize in advance because if this is someone I know, she did a horrible job of doing you.
No, I did not, actually.
You did a great job. Maybe they won't listen to this.
I love you. I'm just telling you that now. I love you. And I know that was a bad voice, but I love you.
So yeah, how did you live though?
How did you live?
Is
that how I sound?
Yes.
God. Okay. One foot in front of the other, and then the military made a great decision for us, and that was to send us home, which we were just asking to be moved because I would literally be 3 days a week going 200 miles to have chemotherapy.
And home was back in Texas?
The home was in Texas, yeah. They had San Antonio, BAMC, in fact. So once we were praying and hoping to get to Fort Gordon, which is right there next to the Medical College of Georgia. And then he gets the orders and he comes home and he's really excited. And he's like, we're going to Texas, to San Antonio. And I was like, oh my God.
So how long into her treatments was this?
This was
a few months or?
Yeah, it was probably 3 or 4 months.
That's pretty quick though for the military.
It really is for the military to do that. We got a compassionate
reassignment.
They had internet.
Or
we just didn't have it. No cell phones. Oh, that was fun too. You're driving down the road and you want to stop and call somebody and let them know you're coming. You have to. Do you know what those are? Payphones on the side of the road? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yep. We used to have those.
Quarter in your pocket, ready to.
Yeah, or you dialed
zero to talk to.
Make a collect call from Robbie, and then you have to.
I'm just curious. Was it fucking rotary? Because you just did a pantomime of a rotary.
It was a rotary.
No way.
Swear to God.
They had payphones.
Yes, rotary. God. Yes. What?
In the 80s, the late 80s. I thought it was a beep boop.
No,
beep.
No, it was not. It was a rotary, metal rotary. Yeah. Oh. You'd have to dial 0, wait for it to go back, and get the 3.
Golly gee willikers.
Yeah.
That might be its own episode of how you survive the 80s.
You survived the 80s, yeah.
So anyway, so you move back to Texas.
Yes.
And at this point, she's obviously more stable.
Yes.
And so she's 3.
She is 3 and 23 at the same time.
Wow.
Because she's a diva.
Yeah.
We were literally trying to eat something and she was, of course, throwing a fit. And so we have our aunt there. So Auntie's there and we're in this mall trying to eat some lunch. And she starts having a fit, just a breakdown, total meltdown. And because she wants something. So, of course, Auntie's just like, give it to her. Just give it to her. Just give it to her. And we're like, no, we've got to teach her somehow. Otherwise, she's already spoiled. She's like, just give it to her. And I'm like, no. And so we separate ourselves from her by moving her chair further away from us.
You isolated from the cancer child.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my
I mean, what was I
gosh.
gonna do? We
Did
can't
it
teach
stop?
her.
Did she keep screaming?
No, she screamed louder, which was great because then everybody's looking at us and
Fucking
it's a
show
big
you.
shit show.
I'll show you.
It's a shit show, and she did show us. And so eventually, at some point, we had to give her what she wanted.
You should just
So
stop taking
pretty
her in
much,
public
we
for a
just-
couple years.
That's kind of what happened.
That's
yeah.
what I did with my kids once they hit 2. I was like,
Like,
and
Dad,
we're not going out.
They're
to eat.
feral. We're not going anywhere. We're just gonna be homebodies.
So
Yeah.
So she. It sounds like all things considered, she still stayed.
Yeah.
She still showed her personality. Obviously, I would think that would be contagious.
Well, you know, she was on a Richmond Hill newspapers. That's where we lived at the time when she was first diagnosed. We got a newspaper there. She was on a TV show. They were in the news when she was diagnosed. They actually they picked her because she's so freaking cute. And she talked about, they were trying to talk about her cancer, and she wanted to talk about the damn seagull that bit her finger when we were at the beach.
Well, seagulls are fucking terrifying.
They are
And
terrifying.
they don't have a soul.
And
so.
well, she was trying to feed it bread, and her uncle was there, and it bit her finger. And she's like, my finger, and the bird bit my finger, the deagle. And I was like, oh my God. And it was literally on.
But it didn't hurt because spinal taps. That's why.
Yeah. But she sure did. I mean, it bit her pretty good, and she had a little bandage on her finger, and, you know, we had to explain to the doctor what
And they're
we
like,
were doing.
no, but about your cancer.
Yeah.
And she's like, the deagle.
The deagle. Oh, she was entertaining, and they loved her, and they laughed, and it was a great show for them. Yeah. And then she was in the newspaper when we moved back to New Braunfels. They did a thing on her, and I still have that somewhere. Took pictures. Here she is by her bike with her little Redskins hat on her head and a dress.
Oh, right. So
Redskins, yeah.
That was a choice.
Yeah, it was a choice.
Whose was
that?
that?
Her dad's. But
Oh,
yeah.
so he liked shitty
But
teams.
she really was going for it because she went for that. She was like, Redskins.
In the 80s, they were allowed to have football teams named that as well.
Yeah, I know.
Overall, as time went on, like, she tolerated the treatment well.
Oh yeah, she did great.
And that you guys were.
She had a few things that went on, like, you know, there's always those things when your kids or when anybody's going through chemotherapy that they have setbacks or they have infections that set in. So I will never forget driving 100 miles an hour trying to get her. This was, again, when we were still in Georgia, right before we left. She had 107-degree fever, and I couldn't figure out why.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah. It was shingles. It broke out it took like 2 to 3 days. And then I was in the hospital with her for several days.
Well, she's on something that's going to
She was neutropenic.
just destroy her.
She was
immune system.
neutropenic
Yeah.
and had no white blood cells to fight this off. So she got shingles. They got her back up and going. Everything was good then. And then we moved. And then she got an infection in her portacath, you know. So that infection, of course, in a portacath can go straight to the heart and other places. So we were in the hospital for that. And yeah, there was.
I know when I was like, all chemos are different, but like I was sick. Like whenever I took chemo at 32 and I was a lot of nausea and stuff.
Yeah. No, that's a fun story too. She'd be. 1 minute puking her brains out, and then she'd sit up and go, okay, I want to go play now. Just,
you know, I think
it's so weird.
It speaks to like the resiliency of kids though.
Yeah.
Like I know as an adult what I felt and all the fear and being afraid and the idea of like, you even like think about your own like death and things like that. But like as a kid, I don't think depending on your age,
I don't think so.
You're living in the moment, which honestly, a lot more people should live in the moment. But even to not let like being sick or being hurt, it's like you live in that moment and then it's done and then you want to do the next thing. Like, God, that's crazy.
I think the big takebacks on some of this was like that as she was getting older, she also had friends because, you know, you're obviously you're not alone. And especially in the military, like, you guys are coming in, there's a group of people that are with you, and these kids are all hooked up to IVs together, getting chemo together. They get to know each other. And then comes in the day when you walk in and little Johnny's not there anymore. And I'm the one that has to tell her, little Johnny passed away. And that was her little friend that every Tuesday and Friday we got together because they both had the same treatment. And that was terrifying. Like,
How did she handle like hearing that? I'm sure it probably was. Death is such a weird. Get older.
I don't think she understood a lot. I mean, I think she did it to some extent, but I also didn't try to dwell on it because I didn't want her. I don't know. Maybe that's that adult part of me that says I don't want her to dwell on that. Maybe she's going to think she's going to die or something like that, you know? So
How did you think? Like, what did you feel when you saw that?
No, that's what I thought. Like, oh my God, it could be her. And the parents, you know, like, that was the hard part, you know? I mean, because I don't know. I only know. It's not like you can say, I know how you feel. Right?
No, you can't. Not
because
to
I
somebody
couldn't
that's
even.
lost their
No,
child.
you can't. I mean, I can't walk over there and go, I know how you feel. I know how you feel up to a certain point. I know the scares, the fear, and you have just lived every bit of my fear.
But I think that honestly should be normalized. Is people allowing other people to feel or experience something without having to say, I know how you feel, unless you have fucking done it. And even then,
I don't want you walking up and telling me I know how you feel.
No, because even then we're all individuals. So like you can say, I get it, or I've been there, or I kind of know what you're dealing with. I empathize with you. But
I just don't know that that's the thing that I struggle with even now.
There's nothing you say.
You know, like, what do you say?
Nothing.
Exactly. That's the point.
You literally say, I don't have the words. If you need anything, I'm here. And then you continue to check.
Yeah.
That's all. But you're also dealing in that moment with your own, your most traumatic, most difficult thing. That is kind of, unfortunately, par for the course when you're dealing with disease, especially cancer. And that's so fucking sad that's such a prevalent reality for so many people.
Yeah.
Obviously, your daughter did survive and you had, you know, all of this going on. She's all of the treatments seem to be working. She's adjusting well with all of that. And so from the moment that she was diagnosed until basically, like, I would say what remission treatment was done, how long, like...
So it was a 3-year protocol, but she did so well that they stopped her at 1.5 years.
Wow. So she overall, it was almost like a 2-year.
Yeah, but we moved also. So that part also, the transition of moving to a different location with different doctors and
different
things,
protocols sometimes.
And different protocols. But it was, she literally had been cancer free for, I guess, it was about almost 1 year. That we didn't have it coming back, that we didn't have any issues. But then you get into the other stuff. What happens in the future, right? Things you don't realize are going to happen. Because at the moment that I'm literally just trying to help her survive at this moment. Like, right? It's like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give up. I'm not ready for her to give up. And so I'm just trying to get her through that part. And then we get her through that part. And then you go, oh, well, you didn't tell me it. This is what's going to happen in the end.
So she obviously survived, but I want to know how you feel like what was your major part of staying alive, still alive? I mean, like emotionally and mentally, like how did you not lose your shit and go off on the deep end? What was really the things that helped you?
I did. I think I did in some ways. When it was over, it did wreak havoc. But I do believe that I fell apart after, more so than during.
What would you recommend that people who are enduring something like that, like if you could change a few things or do it the way that you wanted, maybe not, obviously can't change somebody having cancer or not, but like how you handled those things or what you think would have maybe helped you through that at that time. What are those things you would suggest?
Well, I don't think I did rely on people during that time. I mean, there was some really awesome people that I relied on. I mean, I did finally get back to family. So I did have support, which is great. But one of the things that I think for me that was probably the worst part was my other children, because my daughter was going through cancer and she deserved the attention and everything. However, what you don't realize is that they become the front of the family.
And
everybody walks up to you and says, how is that one child doing? And then you've got your other child standing there, and at that point, because everybody wants to know, and they have a right to ask. I mean, they want to know. They've supported you through this, and they want to know how your child's doing. However, you've got another child or other children, and what it does to that child is basically they become invisible.
Yeah,
and it hurts them. And if I had a choice, I would say, actually, this child number 2 is doing great. Thank you for asking. So is child number 1. I really appreciate you asking, and they're both doing well. And I didn't do that. Like, I didn't bring that other child to the forefront. It was, I just answered their question and went on. That was just that being young, not realizing what, and looking back now, like how much it affects the other children. I think that one's one of my biggest ones. And also just, understanding my strength, and that I was stronger than I really
I think
knew
that you were looking at something that you were doing out of strength as a weakness versus realizing it was what was best for her. And so I think that is fair. But again, you were young, you didn't know. I sure as shit, again, I can't even imagine pushing a baby out at 20 anything, 22, 23. Even when I had a kid at late 20s, I wasn't ready. So to not only just have a kid, have 2 children, military husband, live away from home, child diagnosed with a fucking terminal, 24 hours to live, driving all around, and then you spend basically 2 years.
He had to get her back to work, as soon as she was out of intensive care.
Yeah, because the military also comes first.
Yeah, I was like, bye. And I'm like, oh, wait, I got to do this all alone. And I had nobody. Yeah, I mean, those are the things that I when I told you about that person with that deep voice, when she asked me, it's like, that's a good question. I think you just do what you have to do. I think that's what we do.
It's survival.
It really is.
You kick into fight or flight survival mode, and you go into, I call it the cancer tunnel, but you just go in.
That's a good one.
And you just you don't see anything else. You just have blinders on, and it's not even a choice. It just happens to you, and you just keep fucking moving until...
I swear that I lived off of coffee. And what are those little pills? In fact, oh my God, that's so funny. What are the little caffeine pills? I forget what they were
Don't
called.
ask me. That shit gives me palpitations. And this was the 80s, so there's probably
cocaine
it was
in
it. Like real cocaine.
Okay, no, there was none of that.
Was it like no-dose?
Yes, no-dose.
I
so
saw
the
that
funny
on
fact
Saved by
is...
the Bell. That's the only reason. And Jessie, she had a whole addiction to it.
To no-dose, yeah.
And so you really shouldn't.
Swear to...
That's what you had? Oh, great.
Well, I didn't have a choice. I was like, I got to get there, and I had, very little sleep. I had a baby. I had a 2-year-old with cancer, no husband because he was gone by then.
How did all of it, that journey end? Like with their treatments?
Well, she hit where we discussed it, and they'd shown us everything, and... she's great. Her cancer's gone. She had some scarring on her lungs, some little nodules in there as well that were part of the cancer. It wasn't on her lungs. It was because of the radiation and all this. Again, where you kind of come to facts where you find out these treatments cause this and treatments cause this. Yep. So they said, she's good. We can start weaning her off, and then they have to wean her off the medications. And bring her to the close, and it was 18 months, and had a big party for her. And that's when the realization hits, like, I'm not coming back for another 6 months. What does that mean, though? I'm used to seeing you once a week or at least once a month, but what do you mean I'm not going to see you for 6 months? Like, what is... No, I don't like that.
So you got anxious about that?
Yeah, there was a lot of anxiety because I was like, oh, wait... That means you're not checking her.
Right.
That means you don't know. It could come back.
Right. And so...
Another set of anxiety.
How long do you think that stuck with you after? Obviously...
Still to this day.
That's fair.
A long time. I mean, you
she
always worry.
She was healthy after all of this is done. She's like almost 5, I guess. And
yeah, she was fine. She had her portacath taken out.
So,
pretty normal. Everything went pretty normal, but I was still had anxiety. Like, it just freaked me out. She had some problems with her teeth, some things that went on with that. Like I said, the medications, because she was so young, affected some of her teeth. They developed differently than others. So
where is your daughter now?
To
Is it a plot twist?
It is a plot twist.
That's perfect
Dun,
for
dun,
this
dun.
plot twist. She's still alive.
She is still alive.
And
sassy as ever.
She needs to be
I'm
my
looking
best friend.
at her.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's me. It's a story of little Crystal.
It is little Crystal.
It is. You try to give it away a lot, but
oh man, I know, and I was doing
the
really
scary-
well, and then I would just like
just kept doing it. You had to be a little sassy smart ass. You were like,
I
oh, she always has to be the center of attention. You're right. You
oh,
know,
I did.
the
I
only
tried.
thing-
I tried to talk about
The only
how
thing that offended
sassy
me is you
were.
called me normal, because that is not fucking. I was never normal.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. As you were a normal Crystal.
So I guess I should introduce you as my mom, and
that's me.
I have already told, and it'll actually be debuting tomorrow, because we are releasing my first podcast tomorrow, but this will probably come a few weeks from then. So I guess, you already know, and a lot of people that have heard this now know that I've survived 3 times. So that was the first time.
Yep.
And the radiation that I received actually caused my breast cancer.
Yes, it did.
And so you have not only dealt with your child having cancer, you've also had to watch me go through it 2 more times as an adult woman with my own children. And how crazy is it that you tell that story, and tomorrow, fingers crossed, I'm going in for my, quote, last reconstructive surgery for breast cancer, which was caused by that radiation so many years ago.
Yes.
How do you feel now? Like, I know that you've been by my side through each one in different capacities. The second one, we weren't talking for a little bit, and we learned a lot. And then you guys got in on the second part of that. But, and this last year was really, really difficult.
Yes.
And this surgery is basically within 18 months this is the 4th in 18 months for me. So like, what, do you still have hope? Do you still, cause I know how I feel, but I wonder, like, from the outside, as my mother, even as an adult, my kids are always my babies, no matter what. I told you that one time, like recently, that last surgery, when I did my deep flap, when I asked you to come, because nobody takes care of you like your mom does. And you really are. Like, when I'm sick or something's wrong, you'll drop everything and come be there. And like, that's what a fucking mom's supposed to be. And I feel like I'm going to be the same type of mother.
Oh yeah.
But you came up and you were next to me, and that was by far the hardest surgery I remember in my life.
That, I will say, I have seen you through a lot of things, and that one was rough.
Yeah, it was fucking horrific. I honestly, had nothing to do with the surgeons or anything like that. It was just the overall surgery, the experience, and the pain was not being...
and you have a high tolerance for pain,
clearly,
so, which is weird.
Because spinal taps. And
bone
also,
marrows.
And
bone
the,
marrows.
and the Thiegel ate my finger.
The Thiegel.
But whatever you were talking about, I don't remember those things, right? But I can say... You never stand by me and just cry. You stand there and you like, I can see you kind of like, be like, bitch, I gotta pull my big girl panties up, and you like do it in front of me. I can see like your face shift, and then you do that. That's what you're there to care for me, and you're not going to show me any emotion. You're going to be compassionate and loving. You rub my hair. You make me feel like comforted, and I feel at ease with you. So like, obviously, like, if you don't know, or I don't say it enough, I could never have been through any of those things, including childhood, without you. I love you very much. You are an incredible mother. And I fucking hope and pray I never have to do this. But I think that it's really good for other people to hear it, because my experience as an adult allowed you to meet a group of people.
Oh, yeah.
And women that have endured that, or worse, or harder, or lost their children. And you guys are all able to talk on a level that maybe other people don't understand. And so that's why this story isn't necessarily, it wasn't about me. It was about you surviving having my worst nightmare, and so many parents' worst nightmare happen.
Yes.
And I just think, I hope that people listening to this understand that, like, it's okay. It's normal to feel all of the things that you feel. You even said you felt helpless at times. You felt scared. And I'm grateful for you to come on and tell that story. I don't think I've ever asked you in that way. And I thought it would be cool to do because it was really nice to hear it from all of it in one sitting. And I didn't hear a lot. I didn't know all of the details like that.
There's a lot, like I said, there's the box, and I keep that in the box because that's how I made it through, was a box. That box, that's how I could walk
but
through.
I know that I watched you like struggle with that as I grew up.
Oh,
like we
yeah,
kind of grew
yeah.
up together. I mean,
yeah, we did.
and imagine like having,
young.
and that was like a traumatic first couple years. So like, I know that you struggled with that. I watched you struggle with it a lot. And I really feel like my next diagnosis was kind of where you got to unpack that fucking box, even if you didn't want to. And I, from my perspective, and maybe I'm wrong, but from my perspective, yes, I compartmentalize and I can do it. You still have to deal with the shit in the box. So then it's less scary when it comes out. And you're like, I know what I put in that box. It's fucking terrifying. But like, if I need to open it and look at it, I can. And
I do.
And it's
I do, but usually I do it in a different manner and maybe not so publicly, I guess.
This is
you know what I mean?
This isn't part of that.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, when you do that, and I know you know that because I think you have boxes that you compartmentalize.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
You have to, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be able to go through another surgery. You wouldn't be able to do a lot of things that you do because I've watched you. Yeah, it's just your survival instinct. But you bring it out once in a while to play because you've got to bring it out to have a good cry sometimes, or to just, to remember, because that's who you are. What you've been through. It's
made me who I am.
It definitely has.
And I think it's made you who you are.
From a young age.
Yeah. And so
you've always been that
center of attention.
Entertaining is what I say, center of attention, but it is entertaining. You're funny as heck. Okay, I can say it. You're funny as hell. You kill me.
Gosh,
like I can tell you.
Thanks, Mom. But I appreciate you coming on. I love you. I'm proud of you. Obviously, we had a lot of laughs, and we were talking about fucking childhood cancer, which I think part of it, in fairness, is I'm very comfortable with you because I came out of your vagina. So Thanks for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
And if you have a story if this touches you in some way, or you want to reach out to us, please email us. You can find all of that at plottwiststillalive.com on our website, or you can find us on Instagram, social media, or email us. Again, all that information is on our website. But I think we got to end this the right way, and we got to do a high five, still alive, and do your evil laugh.